Whether we were fighting bad guys, flying jets at 4Gs, time traveling, or headed for a galaxy far, far away, no one can deny that the 80s were a prime time for blockbuster movies. With that in mind, just for you, we have compiled 10 great movies that filled the theaters in the 1980s. Now granted, this is not all of the movies that were great from that time, and we did not include R-rated films here because blockbusters were mainly aimed at the whole family, and so were we.
Shall we play a game?
So grab your popcorn and a big Coke as we look at 10 cool blockbusters we watched as Gen X kids. You're watching Gen X Flashback. Number 10, Batman. This movie really brought Tim Burton into the limelight, and it brought The Dark Knight back to the big screen.
What are you? I'm Batman.
And while it's iconic today, can you believe it was controversial choosing comedian actor Michael Keaton? All we knew him as was a comic goofball at this point. A lot of people today don't even know he was a comedian. It's pretty obvious he has some serious acting chops though. And next to Jack Nicholson as the Joker, the film had a dark gothic aesthetic and was a huge hit. I remember going to see this on the fourth day it was in the theater and it was still packed out. It also did something that was long overdue. Batman revitalized the superhero genre, which had left off with the Superman movies, paving the way for future comic book adaptations. Number 9, War Games. If there's one movie that made us all wonder if we could accidentally start World War III from our bedrooms, it was War Games. This early 80s classic mixed Cold War paranoia with the rise of computer hacking. And suddenly, tech wasn't just cool, it was a little bit terrifying. Matthew Broderick stars as David Lightman, a teenager who thinks he's just playing a computer game, but instead hacks into a top-secret military supercomputer. That's right, he unknowingly triggers a nuclear war simulation, and for a moment the world teeters on the edge of a real disaster. Gen Xers who were just starting to see computers in school or at home were hooked. It was a reminder that technology could change everything, for better or worse. But here's where things get wild. The movie actually got President Ronald Reagan's attention. After watching it at Camp David, Reagan asked his national security team, "Hey, could this really happen?" Spoiler alert, it could. The military even confirmed that the scenario was way too real for comfort. That led to some serious action on cybersecurity. War Games wasn't just a box office hit, raking in over $79 million, which is about $232 million today. It left a mark on both pop culture and the government. Not bad for a movie that made us all think twice before messing with the computer. Number 8, Top Gun, 1986. Directed by Tony Scott, Top Gun is an action-packed film that follows hotshot Navy pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell, played by Tom Cruise, as he trains at the elite fighter weapons school. The film's thrilling aerial combat scenes, charismatic performances, and iconic soundtrack featuring Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone made it a massive hit. Top Gun not only boosted Tom Cruise's career, but also significantly increased interest in naval aviation. The movie had a lot of memorable quotes.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
It just added to the widespread appeal of Top Gun. Number 7, Back to the Future. I bet some of you were wondering if I'd lost my mind because I hadn't included this already. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, the story follows Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, of course, as he accidentally time travels back to 1955 in a DeLorean time machine, invented by the eccentric Doc Brown, which was portrayed by Christopher Lloyd. The film's clever script, written by Bob Gale, started with a single question. What if you could go back in time and meet your parents when they were in high school? Marty did, and in the process messed up his entire future. With Doc's help, they had to fix his mistakes, dodge Biff Tannen, who wanted to pound him, invent rock and roll, and get back in time to 1985. Now, for everyone that loves this movie, what did Marty break in the beginning of the film? Let me know in the comments. Red Dawn, the movie that made the cry
Wolverines!
a battle cry for every kid in the 80s. Imagine your high school gets attacked by communist paratroopers. This film was a game changer. not just because of its intense story of a Soviet invasion on American soil, but because it was the first ever to receive a PG-13 rating. It tapped into a lot of our Cold War fears and gave us a glimpse of teenagers fighting back against overwhelming odds. Filmed in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Colorado. During the 80s, this one hit a little too close to home. If you want more information on the filming location, we've done a video covering this on our other channel, Beyond the Exit. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. Number 5, The Karate Kid. Who can forget Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio, and his mentor, Mr. Miyagi? Wax on, wax off. Directed by John G. Avildsen, The Karate Kid is a coming-of-age story about a kid who moves to California from New Jersey and immediately finds himself in the sights of some very well-trained bullies. These guys know karate, so Daniel wants some of that too, to stand up to them. Mr. Miyagi, portrayed by Pat Morita, teaches Daniel how to defend himself, but more importantly, patience, hard work, and empathy. The film's themes of perseverance, friendship, and personal growth are what keep this film alive today. Not to mention a big crane kick to the face. Oh! Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters cut us all off guard, I think. Directed by Ivan Reitman, it mixed comedy and all the special effects elements of a summer blockbuster into an unforgettable cinematic experience. Starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson, the film follows a group of eccentric parapsychologists who start a ghost-catching business in New York City.
He slimed me.
With its rapid-fire script, groundbreaking special effects,
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
and an amazing comedy cast on the top of their performances, Ghostbusters was unforgettable. Number 3, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, directed by Steven Spielberg. It's a tale about a young boy named Elliot who befriends an alien who gets left behind on Earth. This film explores a lot of themes like friendship, family, and the innocence of childhood, pointing out specifically that kids are way more accepting than adults. And most people point out E.T.'s iconic finger-touching scene as their favorite part. What I want to know is how many of you tried to fly off your BMX bikes on a ramp after you watched Elliot and E.T. fly through the air on his bike? That scene is actually Amblin Entertainment's logo. The film was simple, yet had masterful storytelling, and it captivated audiences worldwide, and still does today. Number 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now we have the second Steven Spielberg movie on our list. How many of you wanted to be an archaeologist after you saw this movie? The premise was concocted by George Lucas, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, or just plain Raiders as we called it, introduced us to the coolest treasure hunter ever, Indiana Jones, or Dr. Jones, played by Harrison Ford. The film follows Indy on his quest to find the biblical Ark of the Covenant before it falls into the hands of the Nazis. It's a non-stop action, exotic location, iconic set, run Indy run, undeniable blast. This film set a new standard for the action-adventure genre. Even better, almost all of its crazy scenes were 100% practical effects. Number 1, The Empire Strikes Back from 1980. I'm not sure any movie screamed for a sequel quite the way that Star Wars did. After sweeping us off our feet, we wanted to be swept back into the theater. In fact, I remember standing in line for the tickets with my family for 2 hours just to see The Empire Strikes Back. The film dumps us in the Battle of Hoth, then Yoda training Luke to be a Jedi. Hey, and don't forget the biggest plot twist in film history.
No, I am your father.
This movie significantly expanded the Star Wars universe, introducing a load of new characters, including Yoda, Lando Calrissian, and Boba Fett. The special effects wizards over at ILM had gotten a lot better. Now all you gotta do is see this scroll, and I bet you're a kid sitting in the theater all over again. Well, that's the end of the list. And please let me know if there are any more blockbusters we missed that you'd like to see in another video. We can always compile another one if we get enough, and I will revisit it. Hey, thanks for watching. We loved having you along on our trip back to the 80s movie theater. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel and let us know what else you would like to see. Until next time, thanks for watching, and God bless.